Okay, I'm gonna try to do a good vlog, um, incorporating last week's vlog into this week's vlog. So on Friday of last week, I was on my way to work, and I was kind of describing how I transferred locations for the security guard job to basically Chadds Ford, Pennsylvania. So when I drive that way, I get to drive through where I understand Andrew Wyeth and Jamie Wyeth and C. Wyeth have their home base, their Pennsylvania home base. So I like to look at the colors and try to see if I can't find a scene that reminds me of a Wyeth painting when I'm down there. The job doesn't have a truck, which usually, as a security guard, half of the time you're walking the store and half the time you're in a truck. And that's a big relief because in the truck, I can journal my thoughts. I can sit down and straight up draw. I was in the truck, doing, drawings of trees and parking lot features that I saw, and I thought, wow, this is so funny, it's so pleasant, and it fits so well with being an artist. And then you go inside the store and walk the store, and then the store closes at 8, but you're on duty until 1, so you have 5 hours of studio time, just nothing to do. This new location's different. I show up at 10 and I walk the store for 12 hours until 10 at night. It's kind of a fucking nightmare. So I'm gonna stick to it because at least I don't have to work with anyone when I'm there. Working with other employees was a big bugaboo of the job because the other employees would escalate situations, and our whole job is to de-escalate situations. So if someone is mad in the store, can you imagine a security guard coming over and just egging them on and trying to get them to throw the first punch? The culture of, tough guy, et cetera, is what's wrong with policing, and it's stupid that it trickles also into security guard work, but it does. So, and the security guards are talking about how they might go into school to be a cop, for the money, and also, I don't know, they don't say like it's for the gun and to be tough, but that's what it is. It's dumb culture. But anyway, I kind of like the de-escalation aspect of the job. It allows me to extend my hospitality and prudence and temperance, practice all of that stuff, patience. So, yeah, I'm reserving one day out of the week, each week, to go to that job. It'll give me I think it's a W-9. It gives me health insurance, which I haven't used it all yet, and just kind of generally, it's a way to get $150 in a day. I get paid 15 an hour or 14 an hour, so it's okay, not great. I might try to get another job even if it pays less. I've already tried to work at Sherwin-Williams that pays 12 an hour, so I can learn about paint, how paint is really formulated and mixed on a corporate level. They're hesitant to hire me. Secretly, of course, I'm colorblind, but that's not what the knowledge to be learned at Sherwin-Williams is. It's more about product lines, and this one has an extender, a quickener, a binding agent. This one, mildew resistant. Don't mix this with that. And tools. And I've painted houses for a little while now, and so I thought, oh my God, I'd be invaluable, because when I'm in Sherwin-Williams, it's clear when you ask people about their products, they actually don't know what's going on. They usually hire people that can, I think, interview in the spirit of being a consistent and boring employee who doesn't know anything about paint because the managers don't know anything about paint. So when they're interviewing, that you kind of express, I love paint. I just want to learn more about paint. I've used all of your products, and I feel like I'd be invaluable to the company because I could chit chat, and I would read your, paint formula logs, and hone in and just try to be, know what I'm talking about. And I see other customers too ask the questions that I anticipate being able to answer. And it drives me nuts that they won't let me in. I've interviewed on the phone probably about 10 times. And I've interviewed in stores 4 times. And I've filled out probably 50 applications. Granted, I used the same PDFs for each application, so maybe I should switch everything up. But anyway, all this to say, I might switch to a job that pays less, and that'll give me a new kind of understanding. And another option would be Home Depot. I'm not excited. Well, I think I am. I'm excited about life, but it's not like Home Depot is my goal, but goddamn, they've got a lot to teach, and I'm in there, pretty often. Just looking at products and fantasizing about solutions to projects that I've been kind of freelanced to tackle, such as this cabinet in my, I'm gonna flip the camera around. I've got a cabinet in my, that's strange. Anyway. So I'm building that, and I'm gonna cut plexiglass and put a frosted film over the plexiglass, set it in those, boxes, and install hinges. Kind of simple. Might be a touch ugly, but hopefully I'll get it into shape to where it looks nice. Then I'll paint it and put it in a laundry room for a client. I'm raising guinea fowl for the same client. I'm installing shelves. I'm framing pictures. I'm curating art for them to kind of be able to flip through a catalog and select their favorites. So that's where I am. I'm getting dressed and trying to gorge myself on potatoes before I go to work because I don't want to, sit down and eat or spend money at Walmart that I don't need to. Because when you walk around and you're hungry, you just walk through the frozen food aisle and you just read the labels, and then you cave and you buy, a $5 meal, which is no big deal, but then it just sucks to feel that you didn't make $14 that hour, you made $9 that hour, and you squandered $5 of it on a chicken pot pie. This, however, was like $5 for a box, and that can feed me for a long time. I put half a stick of butter in here too. So there's a lot more to say, and I'll go ahead and say it, but that's about it for that. So my living situation is changing. My landlord upstairs, I'm glad I talked to my client yesterday, who's also his sugar mama, basically, without any lascivious behavior. It's just a sugar mama insofar as she contracts him to middleman a flooring solution for her. Middleman, me. I mean, he hooked me up with her. Middleman, acquiring properties, curating properties. So, yeah, we were talking about him yesterday, and he's lied to me and been, it's kind of hard because, like, I think this is what it is. He's been generous, but it's like, at the end of the day, you're a landlord. So he kind of shifts valuation on his gifts at will. And that includes favors, that includes food. So he's kind of going on the shtick that he's a provider, but he'll leverage those gifts against you. And when you catch him in the middle of a lie, which happens pretty often, he gets mad. That's what my client said about him yesterday, and that is what it is. So, yeah, he'll feed you like a $5 pizza one night, and he's emphasizing, please, I can't eat this all. I bought too much. It's going to go bad. First it's a pizza. You can throw that in the fridge, but this is a real example. And so hesitantly, I took some pizza, and I guess he didn't bring it up, but just knowing that he knows that he's feeding you, that takes on this, like, inflated space in his mind, and it gives him the leverage to fuck you. So the same thing happened with a truck. I explained this before, so if you watched a few of these, you'll know. He loaned me the truck. My car broke down. He said, use the truck. I said, no. Use my car. No. I just thought, okay, I'm going to be stranded here. I'm going to be humble and just, like, be a little hermit. And so I wouldn't use this stuff, except I did for maybe like a grocery run to prepare myself for the hermitage. And he said, one morning, use the truck to move this furniture to my client's house. So I threw the bed in, drove the bed to the client's house, and then later that day I get a phone call that, I'm not going to pay you for your day's labor, because I did a day's house painting labor for him. This has been like a week past that I did it. He owed me $150, and on that same day, he installed a $1,800 blacktop driveway for himself. So he said, I can't pay you that. I don't have the money, and you've been using the truck. So I think it's equal. But I hadn't been using the truck. I also moved a refrigerator for him with the truck. So I'm running his errands with the truck, and then it's leveraged as though I'm using his truck. So that was really shameful. And then within that same conversation, I said, you brought up the truck as if but I'm only using the truck to do your stuff. And he's like, I didn't bring up the truck, so he'll lie immediately. So it's boring talking about liars. They're just, dead. They're not human. I love him and all this stuff. I think it's someone that Jesus would love. You got to extend that to someone who's clearly a fuck up. But that's that story. So I couldn't trust anything he said, and it went quiet for a week and a half after that. And so I called him and I left a voicemail, and I said, hey, I'm really grateful for this house. It's a good situation, and I cleaned my room today, so I really see it for what it is, and it's gone quiet between us, and I wonder if you're stewing in your mind. And if that's the case, I would hope that you would call me, or that the next time I see you we can talk, because I don't know what's going on in your mind. We used to talk all the time, and I could really use something consistent in my life right now, because I'm trying to build my art career and my life in general. You understand, I've just been, graduated from school, and this really I need a firm foundation to build upon. So please call me back. So then it was silence again for a few days, and then I get a phone call when I'm at my girlfriend's house, which I'm really excited to announce. I am very, very excited about my new girlfriend. So I'm at her house, and he says, yeah, my son needs to move in because he's having trouble with his apartment, so I'm gonna give him your apartment. And I know that's a lie, and so I just kind of like call him a little bit on his bluff by, I guess, just upping the stakes. I said, yeah, okay, August 1st. He's like, yeah, August 1st. So that gives me a little deadline to move. By that time, I had already known at least that I was being gaslighted. So I had an open ad online on Craigslist that said, I'm a real deal artist, and I'm being actively gaslighted by my landlord. I would do good on a farm. I could help you with stuff. I'm a strong individual, quiet, clean, and I'm looking to pay between $600 and $800 a month. Or, if you have literally a barn, I'll camp in your barn. If we can come up with something that's beneficial for both of us, that's the idea. So I got 2 replies to that, both divorcees. This guy's a divorcee too, my landlord now. And one of them said, like, okay, let's talk and maybe we can meet. I already have someone living in my house, a Chinese girl who works at a car dealership, and she's real quiet and like good person. Same with him. He's done this arrangement where he has people live in his house, but they're always like Ivy League kids, like good kids who he finds through their parents. They kind of say, like, if our kid's going to school out of town, he's going to live in a mansion with this guy. And so they get to keep their high class. But we met, got along. I went to his house. It's kind of interesting. Looks like a Winchester murder mansion because he adds on sections, and it's just kind of like incongruencies, like in style. So like one room looks like the foyer of a hospital, and the next room looks complete with like a stone waterfall. The next room is like central Germany, Weimar. I don't know Germany that well. And then, but I'm talking about the time period. It's just old. And the other room has got, like a movie theater in it, and it has a piece from some other region. So anyway, $600 a month, and he has a contract, and he flips houses, and I guess it's similar, but yeah, seems like a good guy who's had a lot of pain in his life, because on his bookshelves there's every ledge has a series of photos that are just kind of poetic and beautiful, and I think he's kind of been through it. So he reminds me of the abominable snowman character from Monsters Inc., who, when you get to his house, he's so hospitable because he's terribly alone in the tundra. So I'm excited, and I have to be careful not to hurt his feelings, because I'm kind of a spiny dude, but I'm also a patient, temperate, and all this kind of temperance and kind of person. So I hope I can just be sensitive to him, because I lived with this guy who was a Pisces once, and goddamn, that dude was sensitive. Holy shit. But it was also like he was also young, and so he was a little bit of a pain in the butt. So it's like, what do I try to be this kid's dad and like talk to him about shit? And I kind of did, but also like, what am I gonna talk about? How much he litters and how much meat he eats and shit like that. And so I kind of had to, not badger him, and not judge him. Not judging was easier than not badgering, because I felt like, oh, well, it's not judgmental. I'm just, if you're a hippie, then everything is what it is. It's not like I'm controlling any of it. That's the problem with hippies, is they think that your actions don't matter, basically. And they sure do. So, actions is all we got, basically. So yeah, I found this new spot to live, so pretty soon I'll live somewhere else. It's a carpeted bedroom. It looks a lot like a hermitage, where I'll quietly read. There's a desk. It's not very rock and roll. It's I like it. I don't know if there's going to be any room for tools. The guy's got all the tools: table saws, pressure washers, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to use them, and I don't know if I purchase my own tools, if there's going to be room enough for me to store mine. So that's another thing where it's like, is this going to be actually mutual? Because the Chinese girl he has living there, she goes and sells cars, and then she comes home. Goes and sells cars and comes home. And she uses like his skillet in his fridge. And she gives him money on the first of every month. So it's like, you can't go wrong there. But do you know what an artist is, and what type of resources we need? Of course, all I really need is that little desk and a chair, and I'll just sit down and draw, and that's what an artist is. But also making my money, building cabinets. I'm also making my money, sawing down panels of various sizes and painting them. I'm making a big painting that's 7 feet by 4.5 feet right now. So it varies, and we'll see if this spot works out. I'm also talking with another house, so I'll move into the first one in August, and the other house I'll move into maybe never, but I'm hoping to find an even better situation. This guy is a divorcee, he's got a son and daughter, so he wants me to do an FBI background check. That's fine, I've done it before. And they come every other week, and he has a wood shop. He graduated with a master's in fine art. He's a sculptor and a painter, and he works in liquid acrylic, and he sculpts out of garbage, and he has a disability. It's like, fucking perfect, man. Let's meet. That'd be great. So I'll meet him next week. And he said I'm in no hurry. So I said, okay, well, I've already got a spot, so that's fine. You know, if it actually works and you want to make a little bit of income off me paying rent, you being in no hurry works, you know, with my schedule as well. So maybe I'll see you in September or October and move in and have a little studio and this kind of stuff. I have all these shows planned. I just signed up for a county-wide art walk, or more of an art drive, dot to dot to dot. It's like a big garage sale across the county. That cost $275, which I was hesitant of course, but you know, the people who are coming out should be actually ready to buy art, and you know, especially with COVID, and the art walk people are doing a pretty good advertising campaign, physical letters, and it has my picture on it, pictures of my paintings, and it has my artist statement on it, which is kind of like poetry gobbledygook about I seek to capture something more than the ever-changing, and it talks about like something special and fragile, like a salamander or like a slimy, like, I don't know, like river scum or something. I'm just fucking around, but really that's all it is. What are you gonna say? I mean, I just want to make something that is kind of like my paintings. So I said that, and I'm gonna try to have about 20 paintings ready on August 19th. Just, you know, in addition to moving and shit like that. But I've got a lot of work to do. I'll probably have to take a little bit of time off my farming job, and that's it. I'm also talking to the antique store, and I think I'm gonna work there one day a week, so it'll be farm, and then Thursday in the antique shop, Friday security guard, Saturday, Sunday studio and girlfriend, and then do it all over again. It's not enough time for art. It's regrettably not enough time for art, and I just had a dream about going to Alaska. I'm not sure if any of that stuff checks out. Travel. I want to travel the northern part of the states. I've been to Montana, through Washington, but Minnesota. I was in Michigan for a week and a half in Detroit, but I would like to drive through Michigan, Ohio, North Dakota. I'd really like to be there and kind of stew. I know Indiana has a lot of, I guess, KKK. I was designing for Indiana murals, and it was all kind of like happy, you know, we have this like black saxophone player, or this Chinese, whatever. But most of it, otherwise, it was just like German. It's German, and it did look German. probably a little bit of Scottish too. I know the Scottish are more in Michigan, but yeah, it's like a beautiful place, but it's awful white. And yeah, learning recently, like, yeah, it's a big place for the Ku Klux Klan. That makes sense. Ain't shit going on except swamps and yeah. So, but I'd be, of course, it sounds like an interesting place anyway. So I gotta go. I mean, I might even be late for work. Oh, I mean, I won't be. I won't let me be, but I might be getting close. So I gotta go. And what else? I suppose that's about it. I hope I talked efficiently enough. I mean, I think actually when I rewatch these, more than anything else, it's ASMR. But it's also, I mean, you know, what if I become the artist that I want to be? Maybe it's documentation for myself. But yeah, the artist that I want to be has a little bit to do with notoriety, at least. Fame and fortune. And so, like, can teach, you know. It's like you listen to people that have traveled and been on the circuit, on tours, and you know, travel is something that enlightens you. So, yeah, of course, I always want to like sleep in my car. So I think I'd like to do that at some point. So maybe that travel also be living in my car. I met Anna Bagayan at a camping spot in Florida, and you know, the camping leader of that spot said like, oh yeah, we have an artist here, and we went over anticipating we're going to see like a hippie dip artist, myself and Angie Rao, who I went to school with, and she was at my family's Thanksgiving that year, and we met her and looked her up, and it's like, oh my god, like you show at Murakami Gallery in Japan, and you show in New York, and you're a real artist, or I mean, you're like a so anyway, the idea of becoming an artist who is not an island, but also not a bitch to some company or series of companies is the idea, and through that I will learn more and more. So that's what fame and notoriety is. It's not just for the sake of, but I think it'll help the art. Yeah, so camping in my car. So I might just save money and then end up doing a car adventure for a little while. I think I might be continuing the project of decluttering. It never ends, I guess, to be cynical. Decluttering. But I want to be a finder, not just a seeker. I looked on, I'm listening to some hippie stuff, and it's a pretty good quote from one of those. Okay.